Most people believe wealth comes from motivation. They think the secret to financial success is waking up every day feeling inspired, disciplined, and ready to make perfect decisions. They imagine that rich people simply have more willpower, more energy, or more self-control than everyone else. That belief sounds reasonable on the surface, but it creates one of the biggest obstacles to building real wealth. Motivation is unreliable. It changes from day to day, hour to hour, and sometimes minute to minute. One day you feel unstoppable, ready to save money, invest wisely, and work toward your goals. The next day you feel tired, distracted, or overwhelmed, and all those plans suddenly seem less important. When your financial future depends on how motivated you feel, progress becomes inconsistent. Think about how most people approach money. They tell themselves they will start saving next month. They promise they will invest when they learn a little more. They decide they will stop wasting money on unnecessary purchases after one more payday. Every financial decision becomes a negotiation with themselves. Every month starts with good intentions, but intentions alone rarely produce long-term results. The problem isn't a lack of intelligence. The problem isn't a lack of desire. The problem is that they are relying on motivation to do work that should be handled by a system. A system is different because it removes the need to constantly make decisions. Instead of asking yourself every month whether you should save money, a system automatically moves money into savings. Instead of wondering whether you should invest, a system invests consistently according to a predetermined plan. Instead of hoping you will make better choices in the future, a system creates an environment where better choices happen by default. This shift may seem small, but it changes everything. Imagine two people earning the exact same income. Both want financial freedom. Both understand the importance of saving and investing. The first person relies on motivation. Every month, they try to decide how much money to save after paying bills and covering expenses. Some months they save a lot because they feel focused and disciplined. Other months they save very little because unexpected expenses appear or they simply lose enthusiasm. Their progress moves forward and backward constantly. The second person creates a simple system. The day their paycheck arrives, a fixed percentage is automatically transferred into investments. The money is moved before they have a chance to spend it. They don't need to feel inspired. They don't need to remember. They don't need to make a new decision every month. The system handles the process. Years later, the difference between these two people becomes enormous. Not because one worked harder, not because one was smarter, because one built a system that continued working regardless of mood or motivation. This is how wealth is often created. Not through dramatic breakthroughs or extraordinary effort, but through ordinary actions repeated consistently for long periods of time. Consistency is one of the most powerful forces in personal finance, and systems are what make consistency possible. Human behavior is naturally inconsistent. Systems provide stability where human emotions cannot. Consider how many financial mistakes happen because people make decisions in emotional moments. When markets are rising, they become excited and invest aggressively. When markets fall, they become fearful and stop investing. They buy when confidence is high and sell when fear takes over. Their emotions guide their decisions and their results suffer because of it. A system removes much of this emotional interference. Instead of reacting to headlines, market swings, or short-term events, the system follows a predefined process. It keeps moving forward regardless of temporary conditions. The same principle applies to earning money. Many people approach income growth without a system. They work hard but never create a structured plan for increasing their value. They hope opportunities appear. They wait for promotions. They assume better results will happen naturally with time. Others create systems for skill development. They dedicate specific hours each week to learning, improving, and expanding their abilities. They consistently acquire knowledge that increases their earning potential. Over time, these small improvements compound into larger opportunities, higher income, and greater financial flexibility. Systems also reduce decision fatigue. Every decision requires mental energy. The more decisions you make throughout the day, the harder it becomes to make good ones. If you constantly have to decide whether to save, invest, budget, learn, or improve your finances, eventually your mental energy runs out. You begin taking shortcuts, you delay important actions, you choose convenience over long-term benefits. A system eliminates many of these decisions entirely. Important financial actions happen automatically, preserving your attention for higher value opportunities. Many people underestimate the power of removing friction. When something is difficult, complicated, or inconvenient, people tend to avoid it. Even simple tasks become challenging when they require repeated effort. Systems reduce friction by making positive actions easier to perform. Automatic transfers, scheduled investments, recurring contributions, and structured routines all help eliminate barriers that normally prevent progress. The easier a behavior becomes, the more likely it is to continue. One reason wealthy individuals often appear disciplined is because many of their financial behaviors are systemized. Outsiders see the results and assume extraordinary self-control is responsible. In reality, much of that success comes from creating processes that make good decisions automatic. They are not constantly resisting temptation. They are often operating within systems that reduce temptation in the first place. The beauty of systems is that they continue producing results during periods when motivation disappears. Everyone experiences difficult seasons. There are times when work becomes stressful, life becomes complicated, and priorities shift unexpectedly. During these periods, relying on willpower becomes especially dangerous. If your entire financial plan depends on daily motivation, progress may stop completely. Systems provide continuity. They keep essential actions moving forward even when your attention is focused elsewhere. Small systems may not seem impressive in the beginning. Automatically investing a percentage of income does not feel exciting. Tracking expenses regularly does not generate immediate rewards. Following a structured plan for improving skills does not create instant results. Yet these actions accumulate over time. Months become years, years become decades. The gap between those who rely on motivation and those who rely on systems grows wider and wider. Every significant financial achievement is usually supported by a collection of systems working together. Saving systems protect capital. Investing systems grow capital. Learning systems increase earning power. Spending systems control lifestyle inflation. Productivity systems improve efficiency. Each system may appear modest individually, but together they create momentum that becomes difficult to stop. People often search for the perfect investment, the perfect business idea, or the perfect opportunity. They spend enormous amounts of time looking for a breakthrough that will transform their financial future overnight. Meanwhile, they ignore the systems that could steadily improve their situation every single day. The reality is that wealth rarely depends on a single decision. More often, it depends on a series of consistent actions executed over long periods of time. Systems make those actions repeatable. Systems make them sustainable. Systems make progress predictable. Systems transform financial success from something that depends on how you feel into something that happens, because the process is already in place. One of the biggest reasons people struggle to build wealth is that they treat saving and investing as an afterthought. They pay their bills, cover their expenses, spend on entertainment, buy the things they want, and then look at whatever money remains at the end of the month. If there is something left, they save it. If there isn't, they promise themselves they will do better next month. This approach feels natural because it follows the order most people are used to. Income comes in, expenses go out, and savings get whatever is left over. The problem is that there is almost never enough left over. Expenses have a way of expanding to match income. The moment people earn more money, they often find new ways to spend it. A slightly larger paycheck leads to a slightly nicer lifestyle. A promotion creates room for more subscriptions, more shopping, better restaurants, or bigger purchases. None of these expenses seem unreasonable on their own. In fact, many of them feel deserved. After working hard, people naturally want to enjoy the rewards of their effort. The challenge is that spending usually happens automatically, while saving requires intention. Without a plan, spending wins almost every time. This is why the principle of paying yourself first is so powerful. Instead of saving what remains after spending, you save and invest before spending begins. The moment income arrives, a portion is immediately directed toward your future. That money is treated as a priority rather than an afterthought. It never sits in your main account waiting to be spent. It never becomes part of the pool of money available for daily decisions. It moves directly toward long-term goals before temptation has a chance to interfere. Many people assume they need a large income before this strategy can work. They imagine that automatic investing is only for people who already have plenty of money. In reality, the habit becomes even more important when income is limited. Someone earning a modest income who consistently invests a percentage of every paycheck is often building a stronger financial foundation than someone earning much more but saving nothing. Wealth is not determined solely by how much money you make. It is heavily influenced by how much money you keep and how effectively that money works for you. The reason automation is so effective is because it removes emotion from the process. Human beings are emotional decision makers. We like to believe our choices are based entirely on logic, but emotions play a much larger role than most people realize. When money sits in a checking account, it creates options. Every option invites a decision. Every decision creates an opportunity for emotions to take control. You may intend to invest part of your paycheck, but a sale appears. A new gadget catches your attention. Friends invite you out. Suddenly, the money has another purpose. When investments happen automatically, those emotional battles disappear. The money moves before you have a chance to spend it elsewhere. The decision is made once, and the system handles the execution repeatedly. This reduces the likelihood of impulsive spending and increases the consistency of long-term investing. Consistency matters far more than most people realize. Many individuals spend years searching for the perfect investment strategy. They read articles, watch videos, analyze market predictions, and wait for the ideal opportunity. While they are busy searching for perfection, they miss the power of regular investing. Consistent investing often produces better results than occasional attempts to time the market perfectly. Money that is invested regularly benefits from time, compounding, and market participation. Money waiting on the sidelines benefits from none of these. Compounding is one of the most powerful forces in wealth creation. Every dollar invested has the potential to generate returns. Those returns can then generate additional returns. Over time, growth begins building on previous growth. The process starts slowly, which is why many people underestimate its importance. In the early stages, progress may appear almost invisible. Small contributions create modest results. The temptation to stop becomes strong because the rewards seem distant. Automatic investing solves this problem by continuing the process regardless of short-term results. The system keeps contributing even when growth appears slow. It keeps moving forward when enthusiasm fades. It keeps building momentum during periods when visible progress is limited. Because of this consistency, compounding has time to work. Many people focus heavily on increasing income while paying very little attention to investing habits. Increasing income is valuable, but income alone does not create wealth. A person can earn a large salary and still struggle financially if they spend everything they make. Another person can earn less but steadily invest a portion of every paycheck and gradually build substantial assets. The difference often comes down to behavior rather than earnings. Automatic investing creates a separation between earning and spending. It establishes a clear priority. Future wealth receives attention before current consumption. This simple shift changes the way money flows through your life. Instead of allowing spending to determine how much you save, saving determines how much you can spend. Some people resist automation because they fear losing flexibility. They worry that committing money to investments every month will limit their options. What they often fail to recognize is that failing to invest creates a different type of limitation. Every dollar spent today is a dollar that cannot grow for tomorrow. Every missed contribution reduces future opportunities. Every delay pushes financial goals further into the distance. The goal is not to eliminate enjoyment or avoid spending altogether. Money exists to improve life. The goal is to create balance between present enjoyment and future security. Automatic investing helps maintain that balance by ensuring that future goals receive consistent attention. It prevents short-term desires from completely overpowering long-term objectives. The psychological benefits are significant as well. Financial progress becomes less stressful when important actions happen automatically. Instead of constantly wondering whether you are saving enough or investing enough, you know the process is already occurring. This creates confidence. It reduces uncertainty. It allows you to focus on increasing income, developing skills, and pursuing opportunities rather than repeatedly making the same financial decisions. Over time, automatic investing also changes your perception of money. You begin adapting to the amount that remains after investments are made. Spending adjusts naturally because the invested portion is no longer viewed as available. This adaptation happens faster than many people expect. What initially feels like a sacrifice gradually becomes normal. The investment contributions become part of the financial routine rather than a burden. This principle works regardless of market conditions. During strong markets, automatic investing ensures continued participation in growth. During weak markets, it allows you to purchase investments consistently, often at lower prices. Because the process continues regardless of headlines or market sentiment, emotional decision-making becomes less influential. Financial success is often portrayed as a series of brilliant decisions or extraordinary opportunities. In reality, it frequently comes from simple habits repeated consistently for years. Automatic investing is one of those habits. It transforms saving from an occasional activity into a permanent process. It removes the need for constant discipline. It reduces emotional interference. It strengthens consistency. It allows compounding to operate without interruption. It ensures that wealth building receives attention before spending begins. It creates a framework where financial progress becomes a routine part of life rather than an occasional effort driven by motivation or temporary enthusiasm. Most people underestimate the power of small actions because they are obsessed with immediate results. They want visible progress, quick rewards, and dramatic transformations. When they start a new habit, a new business, an investment plan, or a financial goal, they expect significant changes within weeks or months. When those changes fail to appear, frustration begins to grow. Motivation fades, enthusiasm disappears, and many people quit before the real benefits have a chance to emerge. The problem is not that the strategy was ineffective. The problem is that they misunderstood how progress actually works. Real wealth is rarely created through one massive event. It is usually the result of countless small actions repeated consistently over long periods of time. A single investment contribution may seem insignificant. One extra hour spent learning a valuable skill may not feel life-changing. Saving a small percentage of a paycheck may appear too small to matter. Viewed individually, these actions seem almost powerless. Viewed collectively over years, they become extraordinarily powerful. The reason is simple: small actions compound. Compounding is one of the most important concepts in wealth creation, yet it is also one of the least understood. Most people think growth happens in a straight line. They assume effort and results move together at the same pace. If they work twice as hard, they expect twice the outcome. If they invest consistently for a few months, they expect immediate financial growth. Reality works differently. Compounding creates growth that accelerates over time. Progress is slow in the beginning and much faster later. The largest results often arrive after years of consistent effort. Imagine a tiny snowball rolling down a hill. At first it grows very slowly. It picks up only a small amount of snow. From a distance, the change is barely noticeable. As it continues rolling, it becomes larger. Because it is larger, it gathers more snow with every rotation. The bigger it gets, the faster it grows. Eventually, the snowball becomes dramatically larger than it was at the beginning. Wealth works in a similar way. Small investments create returns. Those returns generate additional returns. Over time, growth begins creating more growth. The process appears almost invisible at first. Many people quit during this stage because they mistake slow progress for no progress. They fail to realize that the foundation is being built beneath the surface. This principle extends beyond investing. It applies to skills, businesses, relationships, health, productivity, and nearly every area of life. A person who spends 30 minutes each day improving a valuable skill may not notice significant progress after a week. After a month, the improvement may still seem modest. After several years, the accumulated knowledge can completely transform earning potential and career opportunities. Consider the difference between someone who reads 10 pages of a useful book every day and someone who never reads at all. 10 pages do not seem impressive. Most people can read 10 pages in a short amount of time. Skipping those pages feels harmless because the immediate consequences are almost non-existent. One day of reading changes very little. One day of not reading changes very little. Yet the gap between those two choices widens over time. Hundreds of pages become thousands. Thousands become entire libraries of knowledge. Small actions repeated consistently create outcomes that appear extraordinary from the outside. The challenge is that human beings naturally focus on short-term feedback. We are wired to notice immediate rewards. Spending money provides instant satisfaction. Saving money provides delayed benefits. Watching television creates immediate entertainment. Learning a new skill often feels difficult and uncomfortable. Because the rewards of productive actions are delayed, many people struggle to remain consistent. This is where patience becomes essential. Compounding rewards those who continue long enough for growth to accelerate. The early stages often feel unfair because effort appears disconnected from results. Someone may invest for years and see only modest gains. Someone may work on a business for months before attracting meaningful customers. Someone may develop skills without receiving immediate financial rewards. During this period, consistency matters more than visible progress. Many people abandon opportunities just before compounding begins to produce noticeable results. They assume their efforts are not working because the payoff has not arrived quickly enough. What they fail to recognize is that compounding often produces its greatest rewards near the end rather than the beginning. The largest gains frequently occur after long periods of seemingly slow growth. This misunderstanding explains why consistency is so rare. Starting is easy. Continuing is difficult. Most people can follow a plan for a few days or weeks. Far fewer can continue when excitement fades. Consistency requires showing up even when results are invisible. It requires trusting the process before evidence appears. It requires maintaining productive habits long enough for compounding to reveal its power. Financially successful individuals often appear to have achieved rapid success. Observers see the outcome but miss the years of preparation. They notice the successful business but not the countless hours invested beforehand. They see the investment portfolio but not the years of regular contributions. They admire the expertise but overlook the years spent learning. What appears to be sudden success is frequently the result of long-term consistency finally becoming visible. The opposite is also true. Small negative actions compound just as effectively as positive ones. Spending slightly more than you earn may seem harmless at first. Delaying investments for another year may not appear significant. Ignoring opportunities to improve skills may feel inconsequential. Yet these small decisions accumulate over time. Just as positive habits create upward momentum, negative habits create downward momentum. A person who wastes a small amount of money every day rarely notices the immediate impact. The expense feels minor. The decision seems insignificant. Years later, the cumulative effect becomes substantial. The same principle applies to procrastination, poor financial decisions, neglected opportunities, and unproductive habits. Small actions rarely stay small when repeated consistently. One reason people struggle with consistency is because they overestimate the importance of intensity and underestimate the importance of repetition. They believe massive effort is required for success. As a result, they create ambitious plans that demand enormous energy. These plans often collapse because they are difficult to sustain. Smaller actions performed consistently usually outperform larger actions performed occasionally. Investing a modest amount every month is often more effective than waiting for the perfect opportunity to invest a large amount. Learning a little every day is often more effective than attempting to learn everything at once. Improving gradually creates momentum that can be maintained. Consistency transforms ordinary actions into extraordinary outcomes. The beauty of compounding is that it does not require perfection. Missing a day occasionally does not destroy progress. Making mistakes does not eliminate the benefits. What matters is maintaining the overall pattern. The cumulative effect of repeated positive actions eventually becomes difficult to ignore. This is why wealth building is often less about brilliance and more about persistence. You do not need to predict every market movement. You do not need to discover a secret investment strategy. You do not need extraordinary intelligence. You need consistency. You need patience. You need the willingness to continue performing small productive actions long after the initial excitement disappears. The individuals who achieve remarkable financial results are often those who understand a simple truth. Every small action matters. Every contribution matters. Every improvement matters. Every productive habit matters. Most of these actions appear insignificant in isolation. Their true power emerges through repetition. Time magnifies their impact. Compounding multiplies their effects. Consistency transforms simple behaviors into meaningful results. Small actions become larger outcomes. Larger outcomes create greater opportunities. Greater opportunities create even more growth. The cycle continues building momentum year after year as the accumulated benefits of disciplined actions expand far beyond what seemed possible in the beginning.